Here's the story from the Daily Mail. When you see mass firings, look at the bigger story. The bigger story. Oh. Biden appears to defend the unvaccinated losing their jobs. Appears to. He literally defended it, saying, look at the bigger picture. The people who lost their jobs don't matter. Meanwhile, I'm just going to jump right into it. U.S. jobs growth unexpectedly weak in September. Thank you, Financial Times. Unexpectedly. Yes, I've been buying emergency food because I unexpectedly, I'm shocked by what's happening with the economy and the cost of beef, the rice shortages, the gas prices, the steel, the lumber, the labor shortage, the trucker shortage. I tried ordering some stuff off the internet. I don't even know where it is. It's gone.
Yep, these are the worst job numbers for his entire presidency. And he says this is a sign America is moving forward. Yes, into the dumpster, into the trash, into just economic Armageddon and just financial ruin for the rest of America. I mean, a lot of people need to understand that the pain out there that is felt is so wide, is so vast. I mean, people were just lambasted. They had so much government in their life that the lockdowns, the unemployment benefits, the labor shortages, the supply shortages, the continued mandates, the continued rules and regulations are literally standing in the way of free capital from moving around. And then some people are still wanting more government for some reason. I can't understand it. You guys got a lot of government. What does government look like? Directly getting involved in the economy, printing money out of nowhere, and hyperinflating the currency, robbing you blind.
Well, Joe Biden wonders why he's like, well, it's not happening fast enough. Well, maybe, just maybe, if you weren't scaring people every day. Oh my goodness. Why do I have to do okay. I have to do the Joe Biden thing. Unions.
That
unions made the middle class.
Yes.
Look, he's scaring people. Every day he's like, first of all, he goes, it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. No, it's not. It's a global pandemic. It's a global pandemic, right? We will never get to zero. We can't get to zero because we're one of hundreds of countries on the planet, right?
Well, specifically with his statement about the U.S. getting to 98%, that won't happen either because a large portion of the population lives in the middle of nowhere. Joe Bob, who lives in the mountains, is not going to be like, well, I'm going to go drive down 2 hours to get to the city to get that vaccine. He's going to be like, I live 2 hours from the city. I'm going to stay where I'm at.
I don't see anybody. But also you have to realize when he's saying that, look, we need to protect the vaccinated from the unvaccinated. Okay, but you're vaccinated, right? So basically he's saying if you're vaccinated, there's a risk that you're going to get the COVID and and it's going to be the big bad man who's unvaccinated, and he's the one that's going to give it to you. So, we need to get everybody vaccinated. And you're like, well, wait, so if I'm vaccinated, I could still get it. So maybe I won't go to that restaurant. Maybe I won't go shopping. Maybe I won't spend that money on that that TV that I want because I might need it for medical bills later because the president said that I'm possibly going to die.
So you wonder why it is that with all these job openings, people won't take jobs. How many people in cities are like, I don't know, man, I don't feel good. Like Joe Biden's telling me that even though I'm vaccinated, but it's not just Joe Biden, even the New York Times. The New York Times got slammed because they put out this story where it was like the vaccinated are equally as likely to transmit COVID. And what they meant was if you are vaccinated and you get COVID, the transmission rates are comparable. But what people got mad about was they're like, yes, but the New York Times didn't include the statistics that you are substantially less likely to get sick if you are vaccinated.
Right. That's the whole point. It's not about stopping the spread anymore, and it never really was. And the New York Times just I guess like a month and a half ago they put out a story saying the odds are 1 in 5,000 that you're going to be hospitalized if you're vaccinated and you catch COVID, right? Or basically you're. Or like, oh, well, maybe it's 1 in 10,000, depending on the area. It's like, no, it's like Jesse Jackson and his wife got COVID after being vaccinated. Chris Rock.
Brett Kavanaugh, right?
Yeah.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. The Texas Democrats that fled the state, right? They're like, oh, it's 1 in 5,000 breakthrough cases. It's like, then how did 6 or more on the same plane get it? Yeah. Like statistically, you can't say that it's 1 in 5,000 or 1 in 10,000 when it's all these people that are getting it in the same room.
But I don't have an argument for like arguing over statistics. I can say, though, when it comes to math, when it comes to what Joe Biden was saying about jobs, you mentioned this just before the show. Joe Biden's like, look at United Airlines, 59% were vaccinated. Now it's 99. And it's like, when you fire the people who aren't vaccinated, the proportion of those who are vaccinated goes up. Now, a lot of people did just go out and get the vaccine. But you know what worries me about this? At a time of hyperpolarization, the people who are being forced by their jobs and by Joe Biden to go get vaccinated are not happy people. They're completely stressed out. Like the posts I see online where people are like freaking out on Facebook, like convulsing, like, because it's like you lose your job, you can't feed your family, or you do as you're told and get a medical treatment you don't want. And there was one woman who was applying for a religious exemption who got denied, who said she felt like she was being raped, like something was being forced in her body and she couldn't do anything about it. And it's like, well, certainly not the same thing, but I can certainly understand being put in that position. They feel like they have no choice. And when you back some people into a corner like this, you'll get a dangerous reaction.